My neighbor used my driveway for her daughter's wedding, so I had her car towed. I hadn't even sipped my morning coffee when I heard screeching tires and someone shouting, "Just park it here! He won't care!" I stepped outside in my slippers, still groggy, and froze. A white BMW sedan, draped in ribbons and a massive "Just Married" sign, was parked directly in front of my garage. Not just close, completely blocking it, like it belonged there. Then came the real showstopper. A woman in a shimmering mauve dress stomping across my lawn in stilettos, barking orders into her phone. Her name was Judith, and she wasn't just any neighbor. She was the vice president of our HOA, self-appointed queen of our little suburban cul-de-sac. Now, I've had my fair share of issues with Judith. Last Christmas, she filed a violation against me for improperly lit reindeer. The year before that, she threatened to fine me over a non-conforming birdhouse. You know the type. Power-hungry, passive-aggressive, drunk on rules. So when I saw her smugly pacing across my lawn like she owned the zip code, I knew today would be hell. "You'll be fine," she said. I approached a guest holding a mimosa and asked if it was his car. He chuckled. "Nah, man, it's for the wedding. You'll be fine." I won't lie, I saw red. I called out to Judith. She turned, smiling like a kindergarten teacher about to hand out a detention slip. "Oh, hey, it's just for a couple hours," she cooed. "It's my daughter's big day. I'm sure you understand." "No," I replied. "You're blocking my garage. You didn't ask." Judith's smile tightened. "Well, technically," she began, "HOA allows us to use driveways for neighborhood events. Short term. It's totally within community spirit." Community spirit? This wasn't a potluck. This was a private wedding. On private property. With zero permission. So I said it. "Move the car or I'll have it towed." She called me heartless. I called a tow truck. The look on her face, priceless. A mix of disbelief and rage, like I'd just slapped a tiara off her head. While Judith disappeared into the backyard to rally her troops, I called a local tow company. They laughed when I explained what was going on. "A wedding?" the dispatcher said. "On your property? Say no more. We'll be there in 20. And they were. Big truck, loud engine, no hesitation. Just as the driver was securing the car, Judith came sprinting from the backyard like a mother bear mid-rampage. "You can't do this! This is harassment!" she screamed. The tow truck guy didn't even blink. "Private property. Owner requested removal. We're good." Judith looked at me like I'd ruined her entire life. "You just ruined my daughter's wedding." "No," I said. "You did, the moment you decided my driveway was yours." Wedding chaos turned spectacle. The music stopped. Guests stared. Phones came out. One guy actually clapped. Judith stormed off, and I took my first real breath of the day. But of course, she called the cops. About 20 minutes later, an officer showed up. Judith practically dragged him to my driveway, spewing lies about property rights and emotional sabotage. The officer asked me, "Was the car blocking your garage?" I showed him the photos. "Yup, no permission. Didn't touch it, just called a tow." He nodded. "You're in the right. Not a criminal matter." Judith looked like she'd swallowed her own tongue. The war escalates. The next morning, I found a bright yellow citation on my mailbox. HOA violation. Failure to cooperate with community events. Nice try. I gathered everything. Photos, a copy of my deed, the police report, timestamps. I even brought the HOA's own rules and showed that Judith had never submitted a single event form. At the next board hearing, I laid it all out. Judith cried, literally, with dry tissues. "It was my daughter's only wedding," she said. I replied, "And you turned it into a circus, on my property." The board ruled in my favor. She lost her HOA position. Got fined. The neighborhood group chat exploded with support. People started sharing Judith horror stories. Turns out I wasn't alone. I was just the first to say, enough. But here's the twist. Her daughter snapped too. A week later, Judith's daughter, Ava, showed up at my door. She was embarrassed. "I didn't know she parked there," she said quietly. "I'm sorry." Then she handed me a small envelope. "We paid the towing bill ourselves. You don't owe a dime." That moment hit harder than the tow truck. Her mother's obsession with control had cost her a relationship with her own daughter. They were no longer speaking. The fall of a tyrant. Judith stayed in her house, curtains closed, front lawn neglected. For someone who once fined a neighbor over mismatched flower pots, that was poetic justice. But she didn't give up right away. She reported my mailbox, then my non-existent dog. Classic petty Karen moves. I didn't retaliate. I documented everything, quietly. Then something unexpected happened. Mark, the neighbor who'd texted me during the wedding chaos, hosted a barbecue. Whole neighborhood showed up. For the first time in years, there was laughter, connection, kids running free without fear of citations. Judith watched from behind the blinds. She wasn't just losing power, she was becoming irrelevant. Final act, goodbye. Judith weeks passed. The HOA quietly announced her resignation. No farewell, no rant, just a for sale sign and a moving truck. The Queen had fallen. Controversial question for the comments. Was I wrong to have the car towed mid-wedding? Or did Judith deserve every second of it? And let's talk about this. When does community spirit cross the line into entitlement? Is there such a thing as going too far in a neighborhood feud, even when you're in the right? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your take. And if you've ever had a neighbor like Judith, you know exactly what I mean. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's ever dealt with HOA drama. Because sometimes one tow truck is all it takes to fix a neighborhood.